This is my 2004 Honda Accord LX. I was informed back in, well, it's April, end of April now. I was informed back in late October, early November that it needed upper ball joint on the driver's side. I was getting a New York State inspection at the time, and they said, "Oh yeah, you passed inspection, but your ball joint's going to need to be replaced. We can do it right now for $500." I was prepared to spend $25 on the inspection, not $525 on a repair. So I said, "You're not failing me for the inspection?" They said, "No." I said, "Okay." Then in my head, I thought that means it's not dangerous at this point. So I said, "Let's hold off. I'll address it in the spring." Well, fast forward a few months, it's spring finally, and it's a couple weeks ago I started hearing a very ominous clunking sound while turning. That was definitely the joint itself. So I was kind of like, "Oh, okay, now it's time to do it." So I ordered the parts. Parts came to about maybe $150 shipped. These are authorized Honda not authorized, OEM Honda parts. From a website. I didn't get them from the dealer, but they're the same parts I would have gotten from a dealer. And they arrived last week, and it's been snowing since then, so I've been holding off until the nice weather. Today it's supposed to be 70 degrees, although it's a little colder right now. But we'll see what we can do. All right, there shouldn't be any motion in this besides the turning of the wheel, but you can see it's very sloppy. So this has to be replaced, along with, it connects back there and there. So I have to undo those two bolts. There's an ABS sensor right there that needs to be unbolted from it. And then it should just come right out. Piece of cake. Alright, first things first, there's a cotter pin right there that needs to come out. I'm not sure I'll be able to actually get it out, depending on how rusty this is. I have to end up just turning the nut. There's a little motion there. No. Nice. I was worried about not having an impact driver to do this, but that was remarkably easy. Give myself a ratchet. Wrong way. Alright. That's still tough to turn that way. Alright, that's out. Well, the street sweeper finally shut up for a little bit. He's in the cul-de-sac, sweeping up all the crap that the snowplows push around. I don't know what he's doing over there now, but whatever. So this is the ABS sensor that isn't really, it's just kind of mounted on the control arm to keep it out of the way. So you have to take this one nut off. Oh. Just kind of have it flopping around. Now I didn't buy a new one of those nuts, so I got to keep track of that guy. I didn't think about that. This should just come off of there, and it does. Okay. Next I want to disconnect this. In order to do that, I purchased, let's come back over here. I purchased this gizmo from Harbor Freight a bunch of years ago to do the ball joints on my Jeep Cherokee. I had an 86 Cherokee that was mostly rust. It was more rust than metal, so getting those joints out of there was not easy. This thing really saved my ass. So how this works is you kind of slide it on to there and screw that thing down, and it, you know, squeezes it together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, here, I'll show you. Let's put the camera down again. All right. So slide this dude onto there, like that. And then when I tighten this down, it will spread that out and pinch that and push that ball joint right out of there, theoretically. Fortunately, there's not a lot of clearance up here, so I just have to use an open-ended wrench. I'm hoping it's not that difficult. Like I said, this worked on my Cherokee, which was seriously rusted, and the parts were, Jesus, well, that was easy. Alrighty then. That ring that I got that I showed you earlier goes right there, I believe is what that is. So I got the ring, you know, this whole piece with the joint in it, and then I got the ring and the rubber dingus here. I don't see a zerk or anything to grease it, so I'm assuming I have to just kind of spoon grease into it before I put the rubber dude on there. In order to get this out of here, I need to get to that screw. It's not focusing on it, but there's a screw right there, or a bolt right there, and a bolt right there. Come on, focus. And in order to get to those, we have to move this spring and shock absorber. So in order to do that, you gotta take these 5 bolts out, and it should drop down so we can move to the side. He's like haunting me. He just won't go away. He's been there for like a half an hour. That cul-de-sac better be friggin' spotless when he finally leaves. It must be so boring driving a street sweeper. Can you imagine driving that slow all the time? It's awful. All right, back to work here. I was expecting to have to push pretty hard down this assembly in order to get this spring to pop out of those holes up there and get out of the way. But in fact, one procedure I looked at online, the guy actually had to put a bar in here and pry down to get that out of there. But I just kind of put my hand on the brake caliper and it came right out. So yeah, good. So either way, now I have access to that bolt right there. So hopefully it doesn't take too much effort to get that out of there. Try to see how I can do this here. There we go. And I did cheat while I was waiting for the street sweeper to go away. I did put a wrench on this, and it turned shockingly easy. I mean, it wasn't loose, but it wasn't anywhere near as tight as I was expecting it to be. So I don't know what that's about or how tight these should be. I gotta look in my book. I have a factory service manual that hopefully tells me the torque specs on these nuts or these bolts, but okay, now I know why that guy had to pry, because this side is extremely easy to get to. This side, however, is not. This whole spring and shock absorber naturally want to go that direction. I don't know, it probably is, I don't know why, who knows, but it just wants to go this way. So I had to work pretty hard to get this out of the way so I can get a wrench on that bolt to loosen it. But once I did that, I'm able to get it with this rather crazy looking extension fest, complete with universal joint. So I can sneak around the back of this spring here to get that on there. Of course, no, it doesn't want to go on there, but anyway, you get the point. All right. The other one out. And this should just come right out of here. Oh. Excellent. So, good news and better news. Well, it's good news and sort of bad news. That's the old one. That's the new one. You probably remember me mentioning that I purchased this rubber dingus and that ring around there. When I opened the bag, they were actually already on there. I couldn't tell from the drawings online, you know, the diagrams of when you were ordering the parts, of what was actually on there or not. It was like an exploded view and it labeled everything. So I just bought, you know, the things just in case it showed up without them, because that would be tragic. So that's the good news. Bad news is I'm out $4 for, you know, a rubber dingus and a ring. So either way. According to my, what is this? My shop copy of the 2003 4-Accord manual here. What I'm looking at is I replaced this control arm, so looking at 23 foot-pounds for those two bolts that hold that in. I think I mentioned how I was surprised at how easy it was to turn those. Well, that's why. If they're only supposed to be 23 foot-pounds. So, yep, that one's done already. Let's do this one. Oh, poop, I can't get my wrench in there. Use the universal on the other way in. So according to the book, the three bigger bolts on the top should be 37 foot-pounds, and the two smaller ones should be 16. All right. Okay. Put a wrench on that in a second. Shit. Or shoot. Where did that guy go? Oh, there he is. According to the book, this nut is supposed to be 43 foot-pounds, which seems a little light to me, but what do I know? All right, 43 it is. Alright, that cotter pin was way too long. I had the choice when I ordered them of two different sizes, and I picked the longer one because I'd rather have more to work with than less, you know, in case something were to come up. And I clearly bought the one that was too long. But that's okay. Like that. Like that. Not going anywhere. All right, moment of truth. I'm gonna take the jack stand out, lower the car, see if the wheel falls off. We'll see. Perfect. Well, I started this at about maybe 10 o'clock this morning. Took about a half an hour break for the street sweeper to go away. He's making too much noise. Took a few phone calls. What time is it? It's noon now. So if I weren't recording this and taking videos and doing the other side, I bet I could do this in about 30 to 45 minutes. No problem. So piece of cake for $500 from the dealer or 150 by myself. Good deal. Thanks for watching.